Hey, what's up? Starting off with gameplay. One of the more annoying little bugs that players reported was a pull goalie indicator that lied to you when you toggled it. You'd pull the goalie, the UI would lag behind or display inconsistent information, and that second of confusion could be the difference between an intentional empty net attempt and a chaotic scramble. The update addresses that exact problem, so the pull goalie status should finally behave consistently when you flip it on and off, which is especially helpful late in games when you're trying to manage risk precisely. Moving on to Be a Pro, there were a few progression and narrative hiccups that the patch fixes. Some users found the Win the President's Trophy Part 4 challenge showed the wrong challenge text, which made following career objectives confusing. That's been corrected. There was also a rare edge case that could block your progression challenges when you were trying to move up the lineup. Understandably frustrating if you're grinding to secure a top 6 spot, and that scenario has been resolved. Another quirky one, skaters were sometimes getting goalie-only dialogue during Win the Division. Media conversations, which broke immersion. That's fixed as well. Lastly, for Be a Pro, a camera obstruction problem in certain home arena angles for the Utah Mammoth has been addressed, so those awkward blocked camera moments should be gone. And these fixes matter because Be a Pro is one of the modes where polish really shows, and removing small interruptions helps keep the experience smooth and immersive. In the broader game modes category, the team restored national anthems during pre-game intros, which is a simple thing, but it adds to the whole presentation and authenticity of going into a match. They also corrected the NHL 3 subtitle in the main menu, so the labels now reflect what you actually selected instead of being misleading. Presentation details like that are the small touches that make menus less frustrating and more intuitive. World of Chel saw a few tangible additions and QOL improvements that players asked for. The update introduces a matchmaking status indicator in WebEC lobbies, so you can see whether matchmaking is searching, found a match, or waiting, which reduces the guesswork when you're trying to figure out why nothing is happening. There's also a new option for drop-in players to request entry to a club directly from the dressing room, making it way easier to join teams on the fly without opening a separate menu or fumbling through friend lists. After matches, the post-game player summary now shows player loadout text, which helps when you're reviewing what gear and pieces people used without having to dig into profile menus. Additionally, the career stats page got reorganized and cleaned up, making it easier to find the numbers that matter to you. These are the kinds of changes that improve the flow of multiplayer nights. There were also a handful of bug fixes in WASI. Errors when equipping the 8-bit NHL bundle have been resolved, the report content screen no longer triggers an error when tabbing around, and a friend request pop-up issue tied to EA Layer has been corrected. All those small stability fixes reduce the frustration of trying to play online with friends. For the visual side of things, the update added a coach representation for Rick Bowness as the coach for the Columbus Blue Jackets, which is a nice roster and authenticity update for players who care about realism and accurate staff. Uniform updates also rolled out. The Boston Bruins and the Tampa Bay Lightning received Stadium Series uniforms, while lower league and junior teams like the Bloomington Bison and the Windsor Spitfires had third jerseys added or adjusted. Those additions help keep roster presentation fresh and let creation modes and franchise mode feel more current. Overall, this update feels like a focused polish pass. It's not a sweeping content drop, but it tightens up a bunch of places where the user experience was getting clipped by small bugs and missing features. That kind of maintenance is underrated because while it doesn't always make headlines, it shapes how smooth a session feels when you're trying to complete a challenge, finish a Be a Pro game, or coordinate with friends in World of Chel. If you've been running into any of the specific issues I mentioned, inconsistent Pogo UI, challenge text problems, progression blockers, audio or menu oddities, or errors in dressing room flows, those should be improved now that the patch is live. Anyway, that's the rundown of what changed in the update and why it's worth paying attention to, especially if you've been bothered by any of these quirks during play.